Since 2007, a coastline in Canada has been receiving something the world has never seen before in recorded history. Not wreckage, not debris, not messages in bottles, human feet, detached, still inside their sneakers, washing up one after another year after year, with no explanation that satisfies the imagination. This is not a horror story, this is real. And it has been happening for nearly 2 decades along one of the most beautiful stretches of water in North America, and nobody fully understands why. The Salish Sea spans the coastal waters of British Columbia in Canada and Washington State in the United States. It is a breathtaking, sprawling network of ocean inlets, islands, and channels. Kayakers paddle here, families vacation here, and since August of 2007, at least 21 detached human feet have washed ashore in this region, most of them still encased in running shoes. The first discovery came on August 20th, 2007, when a 12-year-old girl was walking on Jedediah Island and spotted a size 12 Adidas sneaker lying on the beach. Inside it was a right human foot. Within 6 days, a second foot was found on Gabriola Island. Within months, more followed. Authorities, journalists, and the public were stunned. Nothing like this had ever been documented anywhere in the world at this scale. Now, here's where the mystery deepens. And this is the part that rewires your thinking entirely. The feet were not cut off. There were no signs of trauma, no blade marks, no evidence of violence performed on the limbs. The feet had separated from their bodies through a process called natural disarticulation. When a human body decomposes in water, the connective tissue at the ankle joint breaks down gradually, and the foot, protected inside a buoyant modern sneaker, can float free. The shoe itself becomes a kind of life raft for the foot inside it. Before we go further, if you are finding this story as compelling and unsettling as it deserves to be, take a second right now to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this one, where history and mystery collide with real unanswered questions, are exactly what we cover here. Hit that bell so you never miss one. So the question shifts. If the feet were not severed by violence, then where are the bodies coming from? The ocean currents of the Salish Sea are complex, powerful, and deeply studied. Forensic oceanographers examined drift patterns and concluded that the feet likely originate from a wide zone across the Pacific and along the coast. The ocean essentially acts as a slow conveyor belt, delivering decomposed remains over months or even years. Investigators worked to identify whose feet they were. Using DNA analysis and dental records, several feet were eventually matched to individuals. Some belonged to people who had gone missing after jumping from bridges, including the Pattullo Bridge and the Port Mann Bridge in British Columbia. Others were connected to individuals who had drowned in unrelated accidents. In at least one tragic case, 2 feet found separately were matched to the same person. One individual was identified as a man who had gone missing in 2004, years before his foot washed ashore. Authorities were also forced to investigate potential foul play each time a new foot appeared. In 2008, a foot was found that initially appeared suspicious, but forensic examination revealed it was a hoax, a fake foot stuffed with dried seaweed. This only intensified public fascination and media frenzy. In another case, a foot discovered in 2011 was matched to a woman who had been a victim of a homicide. That single case proved that not every discovery could be dismissed as accidental drowning, and investigators could not afford to assume otherwise. By 2019, the total count had climbed to 21 confirmed human feet. That number made the Salish Sea phenomenon genuinely unique in world history. No other coastal region on Earth has produced anything comparable in documented records. Forensic scientists, anthropologists, and oceanographers have all been drawn into the story. What the science tells us is actually more haunting than any conspiracy theory. The modern athletic shoe, with its foam midsole and enclosed toe box, creates enough buoyancy to keep a detached foot afloat for extraordinary distances. Older leather shoes or boots would have waterlogged and sunk. The age of the running shoe, essentially from the 1980s onward, created the conditions for this phenomenon. It almost certainly happened before, but nobody found the evidence because the shoes of earlier eras did not float. This means the Salish Sea is not uniquely cursed or sinister. It is uniquely positioned at the receiving end of North Pacific currents, and its beaches happen to be walked regularly by residents and tourists who notice unusual objects. The discovery of each foot is as much a story about human attention as it is about ocean circulation. And yet, despite all the scientific explanation, something lingers. For every foot that has been identified and connected to a known missing person, there are others that remain unidentified. Those unnamed individuals, whoever they were, entered the water somewhere at some point, and the sea has returned only the smallest piece of them. Their full stories remain unwritten. The Salish Sea Feet mystery is not a murder mystery in the traditional sense. It is something more philosophical and more melancholy. It is a reminder that the ocean keeps its own records, operates on its own timeline, and occasionally hands back fragments of what we have lost to it, wrapped in a sneaker, arriving quietly on a morning beach. The next time a foot is found, and investigators believe there will be more, forensic teams will respond quickly, DNA will be extracted, and databases will be searched. Somewhere, a family may finally receive an answer they have been waiting years to hear. The ocean is slow, but it does return what it holds. If this story stayed with you, and we think it will, please leave a comment below telling us which part surprised you most. Share this video with someone who loves true mysteries, grounded in real history. Subscribe if you have not already, because this channel exists for exactly these kinds of stories, the ones that happen quietly in the real world and demand to be understood. We will see you in the next one.